It's a very interesting site which discuss the creation, especially the code of the creation. And this is a site of Oren Evron, is a person, and the site is about Code of Creation, Part 1. The discovery in Genesis about the first verse, בראשית ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ, the beginning God created heaven and earth. Now is very, very interesting site, very, very scientific ideas in mathematics, where it really shows so many secrets about the creation to do with maths. But what I want to show you explanation of what they found, but definitely through Kabbalah, through interesting ideas, Gematria and so on. So the most important verse which they relate to is a famous one, בראשית ברא אלוקים את השמיים ואת הארץ. In the beginning, God created heaven and earth. 7 verse, again the 7 days of creation. Then you have it very interesting, which I brought also, quite famous, the first letter has the numerical value of 22. You have 2 and 2 and 1, 5. Then you have 1 and 5, 6, 6 and 5 again, 72. So it indicates that the word was created with 22 letters. He mentioned it many times, it's a famous known fact. And this is really the explanation why this word really is coming here, because basically for the sentence in the beginning, God created heaven and earth, you don't need this word. So our rabbis tell us that it indicates that the word was created with the 22 letters of the alphabet from Aleph till Tav. Then we had another very interesting idea. You have 7 words and 22 letters. A 22 divided into 7 brings you the pi, which is 3.14. Now in this site you will see all the function of the number 3.14, definitely much more. And then the 314 is a famous name of God, Shakai. Shaddai, this is the name which on the mezuzot, the name of God, 314. The name of God will really confine the world. Our rabbi tell us that the beginning of the creation started like a circle, and it expanded until it got to die, enough. So this 314 represents a circle. So there's a lot about it, about the pi, also the Gematria of pi is 2 names of God, 91, which is 65 and 26. So there's a lot behind this, no doubt about the pi, and they concentrate it in this side. But I want to discuss the numbers, what you see really is the numbers of each word, which come together to 2,701. So in this side, they show the amazing phenomena of this number, which is the sum of the 3 words, the 7 words of this verse. So each word, like Bereshit is 913, Bara 203, Elohim 86, and so on. So it comes together to 2,701. So definitely the question whether this number shows something. It must be that if this is a number, if you have 1 and 7 and 2, must be something behind. So this is what we are going to explain now, according to Kabbalah. Then, before seeing these phenomena, I want really to bring you what I wrote a lot about the first verse of Genesis. In either way, it did not go into very complicated calculations you will see in this site. But I brought the famous idea, Bereshit bara Elokim et hashamayim v'et haaretz, 2007:1, Genesis 1:1. And the translation, when God began to create heaven and earth, right? Then I brought something very interesting, and this is what our rabbis tell us. Our rabbis tell us, Bereshit, the Hebrew word Reshit represents wisdom. Very famous verse in Proverbs, Reshit Chochma Yirat Hashem. The beginning of wisdom is fear of God, but Reshit represents wisdom. And it's written that God created, this is that the Chochma, God created the world with Chochma, with wisdom. Now, what is the numerical value of the word wisdom? 73. Chochma, Chet is 8, Kaf 20, maybe 48, 73. Interesting also, the 73 is 10, and 3 and 7 also fits very much to the spheres, which have the main 3 ones, Keter, Chochma, Binah, the upper 3, and the 7 lower one, the 7 emotion. Also, this Chochma really concludes everything, and also 7 and 3, 10 spheres, 10 sayings. God created the world with 10 sayings. So Chochma is 73. Now, what is the hint that God created the world with wisdom? There is unbelievable phenomena. You know that there is in Hebrew it's called Mishpar Achuri, backwards number, but this is a way of counting letters, and it goes like, if you want to know the number of 3, for example, yeah? So you make 1 plus 2 plus 3, so it comes to 6. Mean adding letters, numbers, 3 after numbers, bring you to this number, which is called Mispar Achuri in Hebrew, but the number which contains all the numbers before. Yeah? So number 6 has a 1 and 2 is 3, so it's 6. Number 4, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 come to 10, and so on. Many ideas really behind all these numbers. But what happens if you take the number of Chochma, 73? It means you start 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. It means all this development of all number. So there is a mathematical way, which is A plus Z divided into 2, multiply the numbers of the numbers. It means in this case, is what you have to do is to take 1 plus 7, A plus Z, which is 74. Then you divide into 2, which brings you to 37. And then you multiply with the 76, so it brings you to 2701. Yeah, as we said, that plus this, divide into 2, multiply. So amazing. So we see clearly that Chochma, wisdom, was the basis of creation of the world. Bereshit bara Elokim et Hashem v'et haaretz 2701. And this was word which was created with wisdom. And clearly you see the wisdom behind creation. 2701. Amazing. Then, definitely, as I said, all this goes with the Lord by wisdom has founded the world. Then, going more into it, so this is what I wrote in my book. There is another interesting phenomena in the verse which indicates to the creation, but in different way. What is written, Bereshit bara Elokim, when God began to create, 14 letters. Yeah, 14 letters, you can see, 6, 11, 14. And 14 is a numerical value of the Hebrew word yad, hand. Yud 10, Dalet 4. Then you have the continuation of the verse, 4 verse, את השמיים ואת הארץ, heaven and earth. Also 14, yeah, yad. So you have the two hands really, the right and the left. 14 and 14 come to 28, which is numerical value, gematria of koach. And this is what the verse says, the Bible, koach ma'asav v'gid lamo, the strength of his deed he indicated to his people. And this is what you have in the 7th verse of creation, telling us 14 and 14, they're also written by 3 and 4. There's a lot behind, but we're not going to it. But what is interesting, why 14 and 14, why hand in hand? Because there are a very famous verse in Isaiah 48:13, which says the following, Af yadi yesda haaretz, v'yemini tipcha shamayim. So God says, my hand also has laid the foundation of the earth, and my right hand has spanned the heaven. Amazing. So with the right hand, or with the hand, which normally is the left one, God created the earth, and with the right one, he created heaven. Yeah, this is what the verse says in Isaiah. So now we understand what is the idea that in the first verse, we have 28 letters divided into 14 and 14. Why? Because God created heaven and earth with the two hands. Yeah. With the left one, the earth, and with the right one, heaven. Amazing. So this also interesting idea behind the first verse, definitely. Now let us go first back to what we saw. So what we saw was about the verse, the Lord founded the earth by wisdom. He established the heavens by understanding. Proverbs. Then, what is amazing, when you check the full Gematria, I said that Gematria have many ways, I got in my book, Lens of Gematria, about 200 pages about Gematria, and there are a lot of ways. And one of the Gematria is taking the full letter, like Chet is Chet Yutet, Kaf is Kaf Pei, Mem is Mem A, Yud. So if you take these numbers, you come to 613. Amazing. It shows that keeping the commandments of Torah give you wisdom. But also, this numerical value is like Bat Torah. With the Torah really indicates that God created the world with Chokhmah and with the Torah. As we know quite well, we mentioned all the idea of Torah code, Bible code, based on this idea. It's written that God looked into the Torah and he created the world, right? So it means that basically the Torah was the basis of creation, and the Torah is wisdom. So it goes together. With wisdom, God created the world with the Torah. And not only this, even the Torah existed 2,000 years before the creation. And Rashi says on this verse, the Lord founded the earth with wisdom according to the Torah. This is a Torah which is discernment and which is knowledge. Amazing. And the Torah, as we said before, Bereshit, Torah שנקראת ראשית. Torah is called beginning, and beginning is called wisdom. So, all this goes together with the first verse. There is another interesting indication that the Torah existed before the creation, because the letters before the letter of Bereshit in the alphabet are Aleph before Bet, Kuf become Resh, Aleph in the same because in the first one, Resh before Shin, Tav Shin, come together to the Torah, clearly indicated before the creation of the world, the Torah already existed, and with this Torah, God created the world. Now, the question, what is 2701? This have to do with Kabbalah, but it is the basis of everything. Now, the first thing, if you remember, we saw that the number 2007 on are basically the 73, if you remember, 1 to 73, plus 37, so it brought us a multiplication of 37, and 7 and 3 brought us to 1,700. Now, what are those numbers? So 7, as we said, is wisdom. What is 37? So here comes the amazing idea. The first is there are 10 spheres. This is why 37, 3 and 7, and this is why wisdom is 3 and 7. So, what is the idea? So, according to Kabbalah, there are 5 parts to the soul. In Hebrew, it's called Yechida, Chaya, Neshama, Ruach, and Nefesh, in different parts in the body. The brain, the soul. In the brain, we have the soul, the heart, the Ruach, spirit, and the Nefesh in the liver, the blood. And above you have the halo, which are the upper one, Yechida and Chaya, flying around. So Yechida, which is the highest, and again the highest word, really the first word, also you have emanations, and above a word which is called like unique, Yechida. So this one could take 37. In Hebrew, Yechida, unique one, the Nigmat is 37, amazing. Why? Because this is the source of the 10 spheres, which start with 3 and go to 7. Amazing. This is really Keter Chochmah Binah, crown, wisdom, and understanding. And these are the 7 lower ones, which is loving kindness, strength, harmony, eternity, glory, foundation, kingdom. Amazing. Now, Chochmah, wisdom, is the opposite of 37. It's 7-3. Why? Because wisdom is already the work of man. A man should see to elevate himself to the upper 3. You start from the 7 to the 3. Amazing. So 7 is the 7 emotional attributes: loving kindness, strength, harmony, eternity, glory, foundation, and kingdom. And this, you should work on it. And by working on this one, you will come to the crown, wisdom, and understanding. Amazing. So this really, these two, 37 and 7-3, multiplying one in the other, so remember, come to 701. Now the question is, what are the 701? Now the first thing, you can see immediately that those numbers come to 10, right? 2 plus 7, 9, plus 1 to 10. But what is more behind? So, very interesting idea brought about the number of years the Sarah, our mother, lived. So she lived 127 years. Amazing, 127. So the rabbi, a very famous book, Tzaddik Tzadok, says this indicates she was complete in her life, which means that she completed her mission in life and she managed to achieve the 10 complete number, which are the spheres. The first one is crown. Then you have 2, which is wisdom and understanding. And then you have the 7 lovers one, right, which has wisdom. This has the emotion one, start from loving kindness, strength, harmony, eternity, and foundation and kingdom. Amazing. So it means those numbers represent exactly the build-up of the spheres. Yeah, the first one, then the 2, Chokhmah, and then the 7, this. And this is the basis of the world, the basis of man. This is the completion. So unbelievable, you can see here so clearly that the creation of the world, which have 7 words, which both will be 22 letters. 22 into 7 is the pi, 3114, 3114. As we say, the name of God, which really confines the world, that will be able to exist in it. Yeah, amazing. So, and then you have so much in the letters, there are so much more behind. I did not really explain here, but in my book, I brought that you have 6 times Aleph. Aleph in Hebrew is 1,000. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,000. Because the word, our Rabbi says, got the power to start to last for 6,000 years. No, we have some about 200 years still. So it's amazing to see how much is behind the first verse in Genesis, and clearly indicates that the world was created with Chokhmah, God created with wisdom. And as I said, what I said is really a small, minute idea of this side. So if you really go into this side, this is the code of creation. This is the first part, but there is a second part. You can see there are unbelievable discoveries and really clearly show that this world could not be created by itself. It definitely was a creator who created it with chokhmah, with wisdom and understanding. So as I said, very, very important site. And I try to explain that behind numbers is also something. No, numbers are important, math, but numbers have much more behind, especially in Gematria and the meaning of it. And you have example here how it is like this, that numbers have such important message, such important teaching about the creation of the world.